Good morning. This morning, I want to talk about something that I call spiritual posturing, and something called authenticity. And I want to be very careful here because don't want to sound judgmental, so I want to stay out of judgment. And I also don't want to poke at something in a way that starts to trigger me when someone pokes at something this way. Um, Spiritual posturing to me is this idea, and the reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why I talk about a lot of these topics is because I've done it myself. I remember when I was living in the community and I was really expanding. I was really finding myself, and I was just like so excited. And there was like a light at the end of the tunnel, and I had this really powerful medicine experience where it just kind of showed me everything that I needed to know. And of course, I got out of that and I wanted to tell everybody. And and then I started to find more about myself and more meditation. And I started to find a lot of peace in myself. And I felt myself completely um, different than everybody else. And I started to kind of, I don't know, it's like a look at me, I'm peaceful, look at me, I'm centered, look at me, I'm a spiritual person and I'm very calm under the storm. And I look back at that time and man, that was a dangerous time because I look back and I was really setting myself up for a fall. And I'm glad that it, shifted into authenticity. And it's something that I really want to be aware of and stay in authenticity because that posturing can, it's like when you think about someone that's wants to be a spiritual teacher and they start getting validated by other people and they start being lifted up by other people, and then people start asking them questions that further validates them. They start to believe the hype, they start to believe the story, and then they start getting ideas about what they should do with that. And that's 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 all well and good if your intention is to be a spiritual rock star. Go for it. We need more spiritual rock stars, but you can't have both. You can't. I was in my mind, what I've seen when that we allow our egoic nature to lead that, it's leading to a fall, and it doesn't really pair up very nicely with authenticity. Um, that that way of being can be very transparent to people that can see through that. So, we've seen people come and go here in Sedona, and they've all kind of led that kind of path of uh, being a spiritual teacher and then being some kind of a guru and then creating these programs that people sign up in these large amounts of money. And uh, I'm really open to that shifting so that we can all experience all the abundance in our life and experience what it feels like to be a worldwide teacher, if that's what your mission is, and to be aware of this thing called spiritual posturing. So it's just something to be conscious of. It can show up in this way too. It can show up in a way that says, um, with spiritual language, I've got this all together, and there's a tiny bit of I don't have it together, but there's more of it of um, uh, I'm holding this presence, and nothing can phase this, and I'm here, and it's a very dangerous place to be as far as um, not allowing yourself to be human, not allowing yourself to experience and feel and be relatable to people. And I found that when I started to deviate away from my own spiritual posturing, it was hard. It was hard to find out, okay, if I'm not posturing, if I'm not known as this spiritually enlightened, awake person, who am I? And then I started to realize that I still got some more stuff to work on. And the more that I looked, like it was an opportunity to look deeper within myself, an opportunity to find out, okay, I think I'm this, but what's deeper than that? What am I resisting? What am I judging about other people, and that I could start to embrace within myself? Man, that was not easy, because there's this sort of a line or a place in you that says, I'm good right here. And I thought that I was good right there. And then I got into a relationship with an amazing woman who showed me that there was more to be experienced, excuse me. And that really helped me to understand that there's a place that I had no idea that I could go to. And I thought that I had reached a summit, and then I would tell everybody, no, I haven't reached the summit. Yes, I'm always working on myself. And yet I wasn't really. So there's this speak about what I'm doing, and it sounds very spiritual, but I'm not really walking the talk. And forgive me if I'm hitting some buttons here, but I've seen it in myself, and I see it in some other people. And so I can recognize it because I've done it myself. This, you're talking and talking, it sounds beautiful, and you are helping people. And but there's a time, like when the talking is going up, 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 and the walking is just kind of down here, and it's gotten kind of stagnant, and you haven't really walked the talk. And then, there's a moment where the shit hits the fan. It could just kind of blow up on that. And I was lucky enough to have a very powerful person in my life that helped me do that, and allowed me to prepare for what was coming next. So this this path from spiritual posturing, which is a more of an egoic way of being, and it's actually a inauthentic, untrue way of being, but it does serve a purpose. It's like a waypoint to kind of hold me in that place and kind of give me confidence and allow me to feel a little bit empowered. Yes, I've come to a place, but just remember that that is not the end, and it won't be the end. Let's see, how do I want to say this? Um, no one is going to take you out of that. You've got to dig deeper and look into what else is there. This isn't the inroad, it's just a stepping stone. And just you saying, yes, I know it's a stepping stone, is not enough. It's not enough to say, yes, it's a step. I'm always working on myself and all that stuff. Very spiritual way of speaking. But unless you're actually digging into the things that you judge about other people, and the things that you say that you can't be, there's more work to be done. And the people that are going to be attracted to you are going to be in vibration with you and resonate with you. But there's a whole new set of people that need something deeper, that need some authenticity. And I guess what I'm thinking about is, like, there are people out there that are so clear, and they look at someone like me and they go, that's great, Daniel, but I can see that there's something else. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at myself enough to see that I'm as clear as I can be in the moment, and that I'm not spiritually bypassing some walk that I need to take. So what it all leads to is this authenticity, that it's not about, oh, I'm a bundle of I'm a mess, of a mess of emotions, and that's who I am, and that's my authenticity. Well, there's a fine line there too. There could be like that bundle of mess of emotions is actually not you. It's actually you are the awareness of that mess, and the mess is actually kind of hijacked your whole experience, your spiritual experience. So it's another spiritual ego that's come in there and said, "Look at me, I'm this mess." So if we can really go to what is authenticity, what is the authentic self, and the way that I perceive it is that me before my conditioning. It's that me that doesn't have an egoic flavor to it, and it's honest and it's true as much as it can be, and it recognizes that whatever I judge in another person, whatever I say, that's just crazy, I can't be that. that's something that it's an opportunity for me to dive even into that. God, there's a lot of no-see-ums around here right now. I'm getting bit up. So maybe this will be a short one. So the thing that really feels good to me and really feels good to the right people is this authentic way of being, and recognizing, yep, I've been that spiritual posturing, I've been that spiritual, the ego and the bypass and all that stuff. But just know that if you're in that place, love yourself there, and just know that it's just a temporary stone that you're stepping on. This is not the peak. This is a false peak. That's a good way of saying it. This is a false peak. Where you're headed is a deeper place. Oh, I just got a vision. So imagine that you're going over this mountain and you can't really see the top, like sort of like Thunder Mountain is here. You walk up that thing and you think you're getting close to the top, and then you take a dip and there's another dive down, and then there's another peak. That's kind of the way that I want to explain it, is that, I thought that I was at this peak and it felt really good, but then there was a down dive, there was a dive into my shadows, into more work before I could climb back up to this higher peak. So it just seems like life just keeps on doing that. I think I'm at this other peak, or at this other, what I call it, that diving board. I'm at this diving board. Everything feels great. Look, wow, this feels really good. But you got to jump off that diving board and then climb up to the other diving board. It's kind of a neat way of creation, that the way that it happens. But I guess I just wanted to share this one because I can see it within me. I can see it around me, and maybe I'm just talking to myself here. I'm sure I am. So spiritual posturing, it's this way of looking at myself and projecting myself to the world as this person. And I don't want to say that, we're not here to look at ourselves as amazing beings. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, look at yourself as an amazing being and a reflection of the divine. But be careful. Be careful of letting your egoic nature get caught up in that, because our egoic nature is insidious. It is crazy. It is so manipulative and creative. Like, it'll use stuff to, you know, hijack your own path. Like, you're going along this path, and all of a sudden you get this lift up and you get validated from these people, and then it takes you off this other direction of, look at me. And so it's just a sidetrack, and then you're meant to just come back to it, and eventually it comes back into authenticity. So just be real sensitive about that. It can be very elusive and very subtle, and it will try and convince you that, no, this is my authentic self. This is who I am. I'm a powerful being, and I'm a spiritual person. Even that can be this a spiritual posturing. So I know this is a sensitive topic, but I kind of wish that somebody would have taken me aside and said, Daniel, can I talk to you? Can we go sit on a rock somewhere and have a conversation? You're awesome. You're great. And you have such great potential. You're in something right now. And just don't get the idea that this is your peak. Don't get the idea that this is the way it's going to go. That this is you. This is a stepping stone. You're meant to be even more open, vulnerable, authentic, true than you ever imagined. There's more depth there. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep experiencing what you're experiencing. But just know that if you could imagine another version of yourself, looking back at yourself and looking at you, going, "Cool, brother. Cool, sister. I like what you're doing there. Yeah, but when you're ready, I'll be over here." And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I look back at myself, I could have a little conversation with myself, and I would come back to myself and go, wow, you're doing great. So much better than you were before. And there's a lot more. Chara says, I think your point is poignant and transcends more than just a spiritual posturing. It happens even when you try to live your life in kindness and sensitive to others, and find that while I, quote, know better, I don't always do better. I act with reaction rather than reflection and response, and I find I'm doubly culpable at those times because I know better and don't act accordingly. Your points today are helpful as always. Oh, that was super. That was awesome. That was a great response there. I like what she's saying there. So it's more than just spiritual posturing. It happens even when you try and live your life in kindness and sensitive to others, and find that while I know better, I don't always do better. Yep, that's it. And it's just when I think about it. Thank you so much for that information, that response. It's just an opportunity to just pull back and come back to, it's like someone when an indigenous person leaves the tribe to go find the world, to go see the world, and he or she has this experience out there and thinks that he or she has made it, and then gets humbled by something, and then comes back to the tribe, and they go, "Come on over here. This is where you belong." That's how I kind of feel about it. Like where we go and explore these things, and it's just another opportunity to be humble and to love ourselves and to forgive ourselves. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope this helps. If you're in this part of your life, um, I guess it does also apply to not just like spiritual teachers and that kind of thing, but I guess it could apply to anybody. And just kind of coming back to our humbleness and our honesty and our inner truth.